Hey everyone, how's it going? What is happening? How are we all doing? It has been some day today. We're just having the bond auction come out, so it's nice to actually jump in when there's a little bit of news. I'm just going to quickly bring up and see what it is. You can see how much the orders have been pulled at the moment. Hey dude, how's it going? How's it going? Well, second, I just bring up the wire that's happening. I'm going to go to actual juice. I just want to see. So we've got the 30-year bond auction about to come out. I'm just going to play this a little second. Let's check what the bid to cover ratio was there on that. Not as demand as you'd like. Kind of to be expected though, right? I mean, who's going to be buying 30-year bonds as much at the minute? To be honest, it's to be expected. Yes, I mean I was tempted to trade mate, but I've taken 8 ticks in the 10 years today, so you know, pretty good so far, mate. I'm literally only been interested in buying. I've had quite a busy day. Was on some calls and stuff today, so I had 20s marked out on the 30-year. It literally ticked it and missed. I missed it. I literally called the pullback. Obviously, was looking to buy after. I mean, you wouldn't be fading after such a low forecast coming in for all these CPI prints, right? I was really surprised with those numbers, to be honest. I was expecting. It made sense in my head where inflation ticked up a little bit and we saw a pullback in stocks. That's what I was expecting. But obviously, you can wipe your ass with the expectations. I don't really have any. It just, and as soon as that news came out, I was, you need to be crazy to fade that, right? So I think that's pretty much all she wrote. I don't know if you noticed this, Rob. See when they just turned this on. Did you guys see that in the last 2 minutes? When they turn on, the range is now capped. So this is now all she wrote for the day. We're just going to range now probably between like 8.5 nines to potentially 3.5 tops. We're not going anywhere after they bang on these. They do for some reason. They do this at 1 p.m. every day, 1 p.m. US time. It's like they turn this on. Yeah, ES is crazy. we're gonna jump in to ES in a minute, to be honest, because I'm aware that you would be bored out your mind watching Treasuries. Jengi, hello. Yeah, crazy numbers, man. That was I was not expecting it. It literally was lower than forecast. Everything. Job numbers were jobless claims were down, and every CPI print was down as well. Crazy. So, and then if stocks wasn't pushing higher, it's not like it needed an excuse, is it? The way it's going at the moment. Right, I'm going to get away from treasuries because if the more I watch this, if this gets down to the value area low here at fours, I'm going to be looked to buying, and I don't really like to trade after 1 p.m. to be honest, as I find the action is shit. So I'm going to open up. This is my other standard chart. We can see. In fact, let me just bring that up quickly. We'll look at the volume profile. One last setup. We'll look at this here so we can see where everything is at. Now absolutely blasted up here. We're now accepting value. In fact, let me get the pen out. Pen. Hey Kim, how's it going? Jengi, how's it going? Right, we're just going to quickly do this and then jump into indices because I'm aware, just some people like bonds and stuff, but you guys will be bored at your marbles if we watch treasuries. So, this, I've consolidated, we've pretty much spent the last 3 days in here, and I've been basically crying that this has been the range. It's been a 20 tick range so far this week. And now obviously we've went bids on the CPI print. Now we are sort of accepting value as a little distribution up here. So until the sentiment changes, I am going to be buying the shit out of bonds and notes. Now tomorrow if we come in, and we probably will get some profit taking. I mean, we could obviously go to the moon, but normally we're going to have a little retest of sort of this area down here. And if we do get down to this area, here, I will be looking to see buyers be stepping up, and then we will ultimately look to be bidding back up to this accepted distribution. So that's pretty much the premise for tomorrow. And now, with the sentiment being the way it is, would I look to fade this? Where would I look to short? I probably wouldn't, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of a reason for fading. I mean, if something happens where we just continually hit the bid, and the bid gets pulled continuously, and we come back down here, then maybe. But I think I'm only looking for long positions to continue this sentiment, to be honest, after the data. General sort of look. Maybe we'll take a fade back in, out of value back in, but that's not going to be a hold at all. Right, I'm going to now stop this guy from talking. And then we have a look at the curve, of course, where we're starting to now get a wee bit more in line now. We need to see this 2 year. We need to see the 2 year get down here. The 2 year needs to be down here, to be honest. It's the wrong way. Which I think if they continue on this track, it might fix itself. And as you guys don't know, this is inverse. What you're seeing here is inverse to treasuries. So the yields, when the yields go up, the bonds and notes go down. When this goes down, the yields go down, bonds and notes go up. If you didn't already know that. But anyway, enough about treasuries. I've bored you guys enough. Okay, let's get cracking here into something that moves a little bit more. Let's get into the ladder. And let me close that so it's not as harsh on the old computer. I'm going to quickly save all. Sierra doesn't really like this. It's trying to talk to me, but bear with me a second and I'll do this. Hopefully you guys don't mind me rambling on about treasuries. I appreciate the majority, if not all of you guys, apart from us older gents like Rob and myself here, where we're partial to the bonds. Right, let's have a look at this. Wait, what? We have absolutely dumped. Huh. Holy smokes. Wait. I was not expecting that. What's been happening here? Wow. We have been dumped. Holy shit. Exactly, Rob. To be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised. But then, as I've been saying, right, something something is really wrong right now. Well, I wouldn't say wrong. It's just, alarm bells should be ringing right now with ES. And I know I've been harping on about this, and I'm not some kind of perma bear, just to get just to get out there. But the hard facts are right now is 40% of the S&P is basically not put any positive gains up this year, right? And the fact that we are absolutely mooning is just down to your big boys, your Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, so on. If it wasn't for those stocks, we wouldn't be having these moons, and it wouldn't be going crazy bid. So it does. The fact that we're selling off, I'm not surprised. I just wasn't expecting it on the CPI data, and it did give this initial response, as you would expect, right, where it just goes moon, and we have a massive bid is expected on that data, and then we've just sold off, and an aggressive sell off as well. But then saying that though, look at Delta. Delta's now flat for the day. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, equities has been really, really due a sell-off, of course. I just was not really expecting it today, to be honest. But then they're going to use days that are high with loads of volume to basically start liquidating their positions, right? That makes sense. And this is just one-way street here. We can see the amount of large selling that's come in by the yellow bubbles. It's almost like a little mini. I've got a large volume indicator where it just shows me where some large size has been hitting on the book to try and visualize it a little bit more. We've got quite a while left for the session. Let me jump onto this to have a look. So we've pulled back to this value area. Let's put this, that's the wrong thing I've just pressed. I just want to do a little sort of pre-context here. So let me put this into the previous profile. I'm just going to merge these so we can see where value is over the last couple of weeks. Okay. And we'll put this one together. Okay, so this is this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're on Thursday. We have a little bit of a higher volume node slightly here, but obviously the main target for anyone that's selling is going to be to get us back to this big puppy here. Right? So this is obviously going to be the main target for anyone that is selling to get down into this. We're a while away from here. But that's going to be the ultimate target for where we're looking. And I think there's if we do decide to continually sell off, we've now got the guts of 3 hours left of this session. And if we really want to, with how aggressive the selling is, if the bid gets pulled, then we could end up somewhere in this region to try and challenge it, to be honest. But there is a at least a little bit of volume done here, and this day's just now been wiped out. So quite one-sided price action, to be honest. So anyway, now I've done my rambling. Let's have a look at what we want to actually be seeing. I'd like to see a bloodbath to the downside, to be honest. That would be great. Buyers need to, in essence, reclaim here, which is the lower volume area of today's session. So if we do break this high, I would like to see sellers step in and defend 56s to then continue down and continue today's theme. Yep. So let me know, did you guys take any trades today? It looks like this has been going bananas while I've been staring at Treasuries, to be honest. So really, even though Treasuries was the easiest buy ever today, just looking to basically bid all day, and then this happens in ES. So I'm kind of counting my lucky stars. It wasn't a rough day at all for me. I mean, eight ticks and Treasuries is get the pom poms out type day for me. So let me know if you guys have taken any trades or anything. Okay, nice. I admire you for being able to scalp Nasdaq, giving me heart palpitations. Do you have the ticks combined when you're doing that? So this is probably the play. I think today I still think we can see a lot of movement left in the session yet, to be honest. The most boring way would be, now we have POC here, would be just to faff around this range. That would be the most boring. If it does that for the next 3 hours in this stream, I'm not going to be too pleased, to be honest. What I would like to see is fill out here. Oh look, the clouds changed. Do you see them? They've increased the size a little bit. Good to see your friends have not left us. Mr. Algo Cloud has not left us. They've just changed the size a little bit. But what I would like to see is take out this sort of area up here. And then we work our way down. Get my bear hat on. I just realised that's a pun to the logo on the channel. Took a few NQ. Nice trader boy. And that's slow. God, you guys are crazy. You're speaking to someone that trades the 10-year note. Oh gosh, that's funny. You guys are like the NAS is slow. Gosh, what would be quite I would quite find quite amusing is for you guys to trade the 10-year or a Treasury product. I find the Ultra Bond quick. It's actually too quick. Yeah, exactly. I mean, what kind of move is this? So we had this distribution here. What's the move down been? Let me just shorten this a little second to get my chart calculator out. So from here to here, we are. Geez, 249 ticks. That's a dump and a half, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see if anyone had the guts to, sell here and hold it. To be honest, it certainly wouldn't be me. Nice. I mean, the 10-year for this week has been. I've still did okay, you know. I think I've taken like four or five ticks, but it's been it, slow. Slow is an understatement. The last 3 days, not including today, obviously, it's been in a 20 tick range for 3 days. So I suppose for this week I was literally just fading back into the point of control, to be honest. That's been my general play, with a maybe slight bias towards buying towards value area high, just because the sentiment was higher bonds anyway and higher notes. But this news today just blew it out of the park. And the thing too that I'm finding more and more is I find Treasuries to be a little more honest than ES. And it doesn't tend to have like a huge spike in a day and then, reverse a lot of the time. When it takes Treasuries, when it takes the previous day high, here's an interesting stat. When it takes the previous day high, 75% of the time, it will close above yesterday's settlement. It's an interesting fact for you, and that data is over the last 3 years. Which is a nice stat to know. Wait, you took 50 ticks, dude, out of ES. If you did, well done. I don't want to butcher your name when I'm saying it, so Kiok, is that pronouncing your name correctly? Kiok. It's very hard for you. It's very hard. I appreciate when someone asks you because my name's like that. My name's Lauren. So when people are like, "How do you pronounce your name?" If you type it, it's very hard in text to tell someone that. I appreciate that. So if you let me know if I'm butchering your name or not, dude. Lorne, Lorne. It's a Scottish name. If you swap, yeah, that's it, Kim. If you swap the I and the O in the pronunciation, I think it works. I and key. Keo, key. I can't. I'm confused. KO. How's it with that? KO. We call you the knockout. That's fine. Cool. Cool. So nothing too much happening here. Let's refresh the delta with my hotkey, so we can see what's happening more in the inside prints. So I think we're gonna do a delta video over the weekend. I think there's been quite a good few talking points this week. But delta is pretty flat at the minute. I mean, it doesn't really get any flatter than this, does it? So was everyone really surprised with the data today? What was your thoughts? I suppose the question is the fact that that data come out. Did the market do as you expected it to do? It's quite interesting now that there's a 25% probability now that there could be 3 rate hikes this year. I think JP Morgan, not that that means anything because it can change any week, they've moved their second hike from December to November. Sorry, second cut. So it'll be good to run through that. I think we'll do it kind of presentation style. I find, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's nice in videos at times to step away from the charts to discuss topics because we're hitting in. Let's see how strong the bid is going to be if we're going to be pulling here. Okay, so we are defending here right now at 40s. NQ is going, so if NQ can continually hit into the bid, we see this break and then it bounces it back. So it looks like we're not going to do too much. This is, now about what, 1:30 p.m. So typically we normally faff around this time and wait for the last hour, or power hour as they call it. Oh, really, Kim? No, I would say I mean, I'm not. I definitely pay attention to it because it makes a huge difference to the daily sentiment. You know. So for example, that happened in Treasuries today, and I'm then only looking for longs. For example, and only looking to be a buyer at certain points. We are literally just moving around, but orders being pulled. There's really no size trading right now. I mean, sad state of affairs. Yes, just in a second ago cleared that price with 15 contracts. Jeez, oh. I mean, look at this. Look how thin this book is, guys. This is the top 500 stocks in the US, and the bid and offer is 60 and 70. Jeez, that's depressing. Hey, I'm not going to harp on the size of the book. I feel like I'm doing that too much, but it's quite depressing. So when the market's like this, in my opinion, and you're trading equities, you need to have a slightly wider stop, so you need to reduce your risk a little bit, because they can just lift 50, 60 contracts in, for example, in one hit, and the market can go 4 or 5 ticks. So you can be offside very fast. As you can see, the delta is really nothing right now, and yet the market's moving 5, 6 ticks. So the flow is not really that readable because they're just pulling orders right, left, and center to move price. Lewis, how's it going, dude? Yeah, sure thing, Colin. Can do that, my friend. Do that, dude. We can run over like a pre-session prep, what we look for, key levels we draw out, what the sort of sentiment is for the overnight session. We can run through a sort of playbook for that. No problem. Lewis, how was your trading today? Did you have a nice trading day? Was it pretty simple one for you, or did you get put through the ringer? How did the day go? Nice, Lewis. That's what I like to hear, dude. Nice and simple day. Yeah, it's the same. It's like 7:30 for me. I finished about 5 p.m. my time, so it was about lunchtime. US I finished. But don't you love it when you make your profit target in 30 minutes, man? That's the way to do it. Nice. So we certainly could still have some more downside down here, to be honest. Especially if they continually pull the bid. But there's just not a whole lot trading, to be honest, right now. Hello, Rouge, how's it going? It's actually Rogue, I think. Here we go. 2 out of 2 for butchering names so far. Neil, buddy boy, how's it going, my friend? How was your day? Also, while we're not really doing anything, I thought I'd like to tell you how I had some really good bacon today, which is always a good part of the day. Boring, no trades. Well, better than a losing day, Neil, that's for sure. Flat is sometimes the best position. Master Scalper, how's it going, dude? How is the tilt looking today? Has half of Top Step blew up their accounts? How's that going? Provide us that information, please. Still no real delta coming in right now. Market's chewing through prices with 20 and 30 lots. So that's a great skill that you've got. It sometimes takes people a long times before they realise that they don't need to trade every day. So well done it, you've got that so early on in your career. Happy days. Could we be in for a bloodbath here today? Let's draw out. Oh wow. Let's draw out these sort of levels. Okay. So we have the regular trading hours low from Wednesday, which is 27.5. So let's just mark that out for a reference point. Well, there is some orders roughly congregated here. Here we go. Still not a huge amount of delta coming in. So the bid has just been pulled so far, so we could have a couple more snap back into the range. So we sometimes like to do that before we dump off, but if NQ continues going like this, we can work our way down to the low day. %54 long, an average price of 55 in ES, 55% underwater. Wow. So the long from 55s. Wait, all the way up here. You're kidding, right? You're not kidding. I don't know why I'm asking that. It's like a rhetorical question. So, top step, average, long. We'll just put there we go. Michael Patak or Patek, whatever, will be licking his chops today for all the blown accounts. Probably butchered his name as well. Or do you know what we're having? Do you know what we can do consistently today? We will butcher people's names. That's what we'll do. We seem to be on a good trend with that today. So 55% is underwater, scalper. Jeez, oh, crazy. So Neil, you think you're going to limit the amount of time you trade to 30 minutes an hour a day? My journal tells me I have most money in an hour and then seem to lose it. Excellent, buddy. Excellent. I like your style. And now you're progressing because you're taking the time to actually see what your behaviour's like when you're pressing the buttons, which is a fantastic place to be. You know, you can the sky's the limit from there once you start getting into that mindset. Constantly work on tweaking yourself and tweaking how you're trading not tweaking the strategy, but tweaking so you can get the most money out of how you perform. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You know, if you trade 1 hour a day and you can make money in 1 hour a day, then fantastic. But definitely limit yourself to like a number of trades, or because it should be when you get to this time, you should, well, at least for me anyway. And I've been trading for the day. I'm mentally tired, so it's hard to to manage. I find it hard to manage the positions unless you've got a very systematic, way. But exactly, knockout. I think it's a good skill. So we're going to need some more, in order for us to crack these lows here, we're going to need some actual size to come in, and probably delta to work its way towards the lows. As we were saying, it's probably going to wrap its way back into this range a couple more times before we do crack. I'd like to do that. I say there is 26 of you lovely people watching, but only 11 likes. Can you sort out the disparity between watchers and like buttons? If you could press the like button for me, that'd be much appreciated. Dudes and dudettes. Exactly, Neil. It's all about identifying what the edge is, and then when it appears in the set time frame, you take it, and that's it. That's it. And at the end of the day, trading, I hate to say it, but it should be boring. It's the whole point. Trading is awfully boring. When you're there to consistently make money, and you need to wait for a specific set of criteria and what you're looking for, it's boring when you're when it doesn't present because you're twiddling your thumbs. That's why I typically like to work on my stats when that happens. Well, let's see if we can get some more selling coming in. Here we go, a little bit more, but it's just the bid's just been pulled. Okay, we're seeing some more selling come in here. See if they can crack. I don't need to really be looking at it, but I take it the big boys are bleeding today for the yeah, it's certainly been overdue. You live in Asia, so all day I try and stay away from the market. And then 8:30 before open, I sit down and do my charting. Sitting all day and you get mental. Yeah, 100%, Kim. 100%. when you send it the charts, you have the just. I find the mental fatigue is the hardest thing. You have like the capital you can risk for a day, and then you also have your mental capital. And if you use either one too quickly, i.e., the risk, money risk that you have, or mental capital, whichever one you use too fast, basically is your stop for that day. Here we go. Delta's working its way to the lows now. Little pullback before we continue on, hopefully. Just need to break 30s, and then we're going to be down to 27.5s, which was the Tuesday low. But it's good to see some selling, to be honest. This has been a long time coming. As I said, if the big boys start to sell off, we're going to be in trouble. The Nasdaq just had a bit of size come in there. Someone sneezed. Here we are. If we can break 30.25 here, we should be going. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I'll put in something in Discord later. But in essence, in terms of the weighted averages, this is the lowest it's been ever in terms of where we're at for these stocks. And what I mean by that is, if it wasn't for the 6 or 7 biggest stocks that are making up 26-27% of the market, if they weren't pumping, this would be the floor. Every 40 to 50% of the rest of the market has been underperforming this year. Yeah, we're absolutely mooning. So I don't know what it is. Are we in an AI bubble or something? Sort of what it feels like. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I was discussing. I need to watch that video, but that coupled with an inverted yield curve is kind of telling. Last time the yield curve was inverted like that, it was just before 2008, and we all know what happened then. Here we go. If NQ can keep on going, we should be cracking here. Doesn't look like it wants to go yet. We need to see some size come in. They're still holding a little bit down here, but it's not too much traded. There's already about 1,000 contracts at the low right now. Certainly wouldn't be fading this, that's for sure. Someone just needs to come in with a little bit of a large size here, and we should see a little mini stop run down at the lows. Hi Tian, good question. So in essence, are you asking me when the bid and offer is pulled? So you really need to pay attention. It's harder to see when the market is thinner, right? Let me clear this and I'll show you what I mean. So just for talking sake, you can see this 80, this will change constantly, but see this 31 and a half, so there's 82 to 80, right? When price gets down here and then they trade into it, these algorithms are constantly hitting one and two lots into the next price, and they're seeing if these orders get pulled, right? So you can see there's 82 here, the full 80 is then traded, and then they've slightly reloaded, right? And then it's then ticked up. So what you want to see is you want to see them hit into the price with a couple of lots, and then the remainder of it will just cancel, okay? And what I mean by orders being pulled is right now, let me get the pen. Right now at 30s you can see 100, 100, 100, 200, 199, right? At these areas here. What I mean by orders being pulled is when price does get here, you need to note roughly in your head that there was say 100 plus at each price. When price does get down here, you want to see when price hits into these levels, does orders be pulled, right? Because that gives you a sign that the bid is actually weak. As we can see right now, okay, there's really no buying or aggressive buying coming in, okay, to really change the narrative and direction right now. In order for us to get up here, the offer has just been pulled. So the way that I look at that is the fact that we're super negative and looking like we're going to crack. Very often they'll just press off, they'll press off the offer a little bit so they can sell a little bit higher, and then they do that before they then look to drive it down. But what you're looking for here is they continually hit into the bid, okay, and then you want to see these orders pull, which they're not doing right now. There's a little bit of two-way going on at these prices. So you need to be constantly noting, and this is why I keep on referring back to constantly a thicker book. So watch these prices. Notice there was hundreds down here before. There's orders being pulled. So when they do hit into this, okay, you want to see them cancel off bids. Or if you were looking to be going long, you want to see them cancel off offers. But as I'm saying, you really don't want to be fading this right now, especially when there's no actual buying coming in. And you can see that in the delta, because if this was to be extremely aggressive buying, delta would be like up here, right? Does that make sense, Tian? NQ's just touched the lows again. In order for us to get down to this sort of range, NQ's going to need to have another stab here at the lows. Watch how sensitive. If NQ gets up here, then obviously ES will sort of go up like 3 ticks up to here. So, just note the lows down here with NQ. So if NQ gets down, it needs to have another stab, which will maybe get ES down to about this kind of range. No problem, Tian. No problem. It is harder. I would say though, when ES is like this, when it's really thin, for the like 5 or 6 prices from the bid and offer, it's much harder to read. To be honest, this is where algos are. It's their playing field. To be honest, it almost makes more sense when the book is like this to compress ticks. Here we are down here. Let's see if they can take it. They've taken it. Let's see if they can continually drill in on ES. Mr. Bond, how's it going, dude? You mean these ones down here, dude? That's a really big blob I've just drawn. We're definitely poised here to be going lower right now. Need to get the cursor on. Talking about these ones down here, dude. You said 21's right? Yeah. Yep, 21 and 20s here. So we'll see if that's going to be the target. Okay, NQ's going. See if it can continue. If it does continue, then we should be going. If we get me to break 30 and 30 and a quarter. Yeah, exactly. They're the real ones. Rather than this bullshit bracket. They're really stacking up the bid though in this bracket. You know, they've added an extra. See if the market tries to push to it. Okay, so there is a little bit of buying coming in. Let's see if the offer can stay strong, absorb it, and then hit into the bid. So if we do hit this with some size, we can see a bit of a capitulation. And then we want to see some delta follow through, so that delta can break the low of the day. So there's not a diversion. That would probably help continue the sell-off. So they're absorbing the lows right now. NQ needs to go down. If it can continually push, then we should break here. Seems to me that the offer is just pulling back and selling a little bit higher, continuously working its way down right now. Tian, so if prices to come into point of interest, take note of the bid and ask size before it gets there and see if bid are reloaded and pulled. Exactly. And then you want to see if there's absorption happening. You know, if it's there for 5 minutes, you know, are sellers are trying to aggressively hit into the bid and buyers are absorbing it all. What's delta doing? You know, what's your premise for the trade? Is there any data coming out? You know, how's the day been so far? Is it a trending or balanced day? You know, when it gets to your point of interest, you know, all of these sort of questions you need to be asking yourself. So for example, if I was looking to buy here right now, and this is the type of price action where there has been some aggressive selling, we're working our way down, the buying that is coming in looks to be absorbing. I would probably I'd be thinking twice about looking to buy here, because I feel like we're going to at least have to have a dip below 30s before we go up. Neil, I don't know, dude. Don't know. Probably not. Probably not, man. As I'm not. I don't know. Maybe once upon a time, but I'm not. I'm not really in it this to for that. It's not really about me. It's about the market and learning stuff, and you know, it would probably help the channel, I suppose, but I just don't really think it's necessary, to be honest. It'd be interesting to hear people's thoughts on that. I'm just not really looking to be an influencer as such, you know. Nice. That's good. Probably to grow to the masses and stuff. I'm not here to grow to the masses. I just want to have a group of cool people to hang out with and make trading less boring. Um, and have a nice community, and not really here to stream and do that whole YouTube stuff. I suppose the word fame goes, but it's a bit rich. It's not like a. Here we go. Let's see. Can we crack? NQ can put one last push down here to see if we can break the lows and take some stopperoos. Well, I was actually looking into that, like getting a logo or something, and making that like move with me talking or something. Something is a little bit fun, you know. Because to be honest with you, there is so many people, with a face cam and streaming nonsense on YouTube. I want it to be something a bit different, And I'm not really one to conforming with the masses, to be honest. As long as people enjoy it and they gain value from it, from the content, that's all I really care about, to be honest. But I'll maybe at some point, try and streamline, the quality of the videos and things of that nature, because I feel I can condense it and stop my rambling so much. Right, here we go. Attempt number 3. And you can push here. We should see this go. Let's see if we can hit with size and do the snapback. What that guys looks like from the previous streams, where we just aggressively hit here and then we quickly snap back. See if we get that behavior, or if we just drill it and then continue down. They're really absorbing this low here. There's 1874 over 2k. Looks to be a little bit of an iceberg going on at 30s, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe we need to do a vote on that, to be honest. We need to do a vote. I suppose the YM is not as correlated, but I just like to see it. I don't really ever check the inside prints. Actually, that's what I was meaning to do. I'll maybe do that for the next stream, where I was talking about taking away the inside prints. With Jagger, actually was talking about that. So I put the price in the middle and just have the bid and offer, because the inside prints for these, I don't really pay that much attention to them. I'm just seeing what the general flow is like. Are they all going down, or not? Look at this, over 2,000 contracts absorbed at the low here. Yeah, once you get proficient at the Dom, Neil, icebergs are not difficult to spot, to be honest. I mean, it's a clear iceberg at 30s, but it's just a shame that they do it right at this is the thing in trading. No day is the same, to be honest. Every day has slightly variations on a theme. And after that iceberg of 2k, we've just went slightly higher. Notice the deltas coming in. Well, let's see how strong the offer is if it continues. Yeah, let's see. Right, I want to see if they're going to hit into this and then the bid be pulled here to get us back down the way. If NQ does work its way down, we should see. So notice there's 100 here in pretty much every price. So if they sling some size in, you want to see how they react to the next prices. And they are still absorbing a little bit more in the offer here. Here we go. Oh, see, they're still trying to protect down here. So there is someone with a bit of intent that's trying to scare people away from down here. It's almost like they want to get some more selling in before they do. Do you notice how that scared away the selling? You know, they pressed that up and the market just pressed up off it. Oh, really? You mean these numbers with TT? Because they actually, if I remember seeing the TT DOM, Rob, did they not have something different to the side, but just updated? You always had to almost like memorize it, right? It's a bit different. Their DOM is a completely different configured setup, right? It's only just ever since like Sierra and Jigsaw come out with this sort of feature. And also TT's really sort of priced himself out of the retail market now anyway. Mainly going for the institutions with large orders and probably really API driven nowadays, I'd imagine. Was that scalper the price or the prints? Or both? The prints, yeah. I find it. I personally could not trade without the prints. Certainly couldn't. Um, and personally, I have them in the middle. I have them in the middle of this for a reason, so you can continually see because it works diagonally, of course. And the white is the best bid and the best offer. I couldn't trade without them, to be honest. It looks weird, and you can almost see the spread. The spread in NQ is wild. I know. I just find it quite weird. I mean, when I'll show you this, if I go to customize, we'll just do this for the sake of the stream, and take this away, right? Recent, recent bid and recent ask. Wow, this it's like highlight. It's this. You might as well not even use it. Holy smokes! Oh, this is actually. Let me change this. Excuse my faffing, but I think it's a good point just to show you how you need to have a good platform. How do I move this up and down? Is it like this? Sorry, move down. It has to be in between here. Classic way that people look at it, with this, with no prints. What do we think? Yeah, exactly. I feel you're missing so much when you don't have the inside prints like this. This is what I was thinking of doing with NQ, because NQ is not so important, to be honest. It's just generally to use for correlations. But you can see how, I don't know, weird this is without the prints, right? What do you guys think? Exactly. Exactly. You can't see the majority of what's happening, to be honest with you. So it's, you know, you're really missing out. You've got no idea what's trading, and let's be serious, right? There's no danger you're watching these exact numbers to see if they increase. That's what you're watching inside prints for. You use this to see steps in the profile, not necessarily what's traded. You know, of course you can see that not much is traded here versus versus here. Well, it's good when you need space. That's sure. That's for sure. Right, let me sort this because it's kind of killing me not having. What did I go to customize? And then it was recent bid volume. And then this needs to go to the top. Mm, mm, mm. My brain is not working today. Right, recent bid volume needs to go in between. And it should be on the left because that's selling. And then recent ask volume needs to go below that. What have I done now? What have I done? That's why you don't change stuff. Ah, this. What's far right here? Current traded bid. There we go. Did that for a point and just sort of ruined it ever so slightly, but there we go. Yeah, it's a catastrophe. Exactly. We see we see the light now. Woohoo! Look at this. Mm. Wow, it's crazy the inside print, so you can see what actually what's been happening, right? It's crazy. That's why, of course, when when you see some other people using depth of market and they don't have that information, you know that they're. I mean, it's no slight against them or anything, but you know they don't use order flow very much because you're literally missing such an important part. Hello, Khaled. How's it going, buddy? Nice of you to join us. Nice of you to join us, my friend. Okay, we are seeing a little bit more delta now come in. Hence the buying. I would like to see us dump some more. Yes, I'm good. Good, buddy. I'm good. It's quite a reasonable day today. Nothing too crazy, which is good. We had a nice range in Treasuries today, so fairly straightforward. No surprises, which is good. Oh, excellent. Excellent. That's a cracker. But yeah, Alex, yeah, the screen space can be a little bit of a problem. I'm tempted though for the Russell and the Dow here to take this away, the inside prints, because I don't really. In fact, let's see what that looks like. customize, and then I need to put price in the take away recent bid and recent ask, and then put the price in the middle, right? And then I can almost shrink that, and then I can maybe make NQ a little bit bigger for you guys. I know. Does this look weird to everyone, or what do we think? I can always not save this, but recent bid, recent ask, put this in the middle. Here we are. So what do we think? Any better? Same? Irrelevant? No problem, Nicholas. Glad you're enjoying, my friend. Yeah, so we'll mess about with that with the Stream Deck just to see if this is better for people, because we're not really checking the inside prints here. We're just using this for correlation. What I could maybe even do for you guys is go to chart studies quickly, and then volume by price delta, set default, okay, and then go to chart studies and then volume by price, and this should then default, and then here we are. Look at that. Don't know if that's helpful at all, but that should give us a slightly different perspective, considering we've now got a little bit more screen real estate. There we are. Okay, I'm getting distracted here by changing things in Sierra. It's quite therapeutic. Honestly, I don't know if I've got something wrong with me, but I find it quite therapeutic to change things on Sierra, changing the colours and stuff and so on. It's like when you start, because it's such a complicated system. When you start something, it's 45 minutes or later, and you've managed to figure out how to change something. Some people go fishing. Kim. No, I've. Oh, do you mean putting in the volume bars in there? Is that what you mean, scalper? 3 times 200 contracts moving up and down with price. Yeah, exactly. Khaled, they've changed ever so slightly at least. I mean, at least they've changed the size of them a little bit, but this one here is now tracking. This one looks to be somewhat real. We'll see if it's pulled at 40s. We'll see if it's pulled at 40s, my friend. Okay, so buyers need to try and break here. We had this drawn up. We have POC at 44s here to get through. There is a little bit more buying delta that has come in. And this sort of weird double distribution day. I don't think we're getting back up to 84s again today. Most likely is to consolidate around here, maybe try and press 48s. But I would like to see us in the next hour and a bit, try and probe the lows, to be honest. Five, 6, 5, 4. You think up here? Up to the rectangle, roughly. Yeah, knockout, exactly. I've spent so many hours on Sierra over the years, it's ridiculous. That's where it's kind of hard I could really never change platform now because I've used it so much, to be honest. You get really used to it. But what I would be surprised now is like what they're doing. Do you notice how the bid has been pulled there? So they just essentially pulled the bid for those four ticks. Only 38 traded, 87.49. They're absorbing here, but let's see if they can crack. So pulled it back 3-4 ticks, absorbed at 37.5, and now popped it back up. Exactly, Cole. Yeah, knockout, exactly. Like went ridiculous with the amount. I mean, to be honest, not really ridiculous. I really like that you can. I really like all the settings, but it definitely is a steep learning curve. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a really good platform once you get used to it, but I wouldn't probably suggest it to be the first platform for anyone. If I was to say someone new to start, I would probably go with Jigsaw, just because it's more out the box than Sierra. Because every single thing you see on the DOM here is custom at some point. This is annoying me that here, and then CD's killing me. There we go. Okay, so rangy at the moment. Nothing too exciting happening. So how do you guys prefer this? Do you prefer it with the N cube and a bit bigger with delta, with these here? I mean, I take it you guys are mainly looking at the inside prints in NQ and ES, right? Exactly, Coward. I completely agree. Exactly. I completely agree, Rob. That's the thing. Scalping for me is a thicker book play where you know you get skilled at reading basically the inside prints and the pooling and stacking on the recent two prices at a point of interest, and you can work those couple of ticks. And because the tick to commission ratio is so good in treasuries, you know seriously you if you're slinging some size, 5-10 contracts in a 30 year, or 10 on the tens, you only need four ticks a day, and you get really proficient at it at key levels. You should really only be taking a couple of ticks drawdown at most. I mean, these days, over the last few weeks, I've only been, I think the max adverse excursion I've had in a trade is 3, and it happened pretty quickly, and then I scratched. So I feel like that's where the scalping is. But you're right, this is more range trading now, and when the book is much thinner the way it is, I feel you need to have your stops that little bit bigger. But I know that some of you guys in here are, to be honest, probably far better at executing on ES than me. Is my edge in ES was when the book was thicker. We've been talking about it in the Discord recently about, Euro stocks, with 400 to 600 in the bidding offer. That's where it gets interesting, because there's not as much. I'd hate using the word manipulation, but algorithms can't fluff around with price so much on a thinner book. Sorry, on a thicker book. Good question, Jasper. Okay, so I've reset this, but if you go back in the stream about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago before I reset this, you'll see at 30s there was approximately so this 2,225 contracts here. 2002. Yeah, my brain is that mush that I'm struggling to read this. So the 2,225 contracts here at the low at 30s. If you look back in the stream, you will see that was all selling. So someone in essence had an iceberg in 30s, and they just absorbed all of the selling in one tick. That's what I mean by absorbed, and it happens across multiple ticks. And you can check it on Delta really simply. Like right now, Delta is pretty much following price. So the market went down when it's selling, the market's gone up when it's buying. In essence, a passive order, a passive bid or a passive offer is the one that absorbs an aggressive order. So when price get down to 30s, right? Someone was saying, right, I've got 200 or 600 here, but at the time there's only 200. Sellers come down and they aggressively hit into 30s, and they say, right, I want all of that. I want all of that. And sellers had hit 2,225 contracts into the lows, and buyers basically gobbled it all up, and basically said, you shall not pass. And then in essence, the theory behind that is sellers run out of steam. If you're giving all of the energy and hitting into a level, right, with all your might to break through it, and you can't break through it, you run out of money and you run out of steam. When the steam runs out, the offer then gets pulled and becomes weak, and some buyers come in. It drives price up. So that's what you look for when it's absorbing. Hopefully that makes sense. Exactly, scalper. Yeah, exactly. I'd imagine in summer months, I'd imagine, not looked at it, but I'd imagine the ranges are going to be grim because it's 400 to 500 bid and offered at summer months. I'd imagine the ranges are going to be pretty tight. But to be fair, that has its own strategy, right? Where you're basically just fading back to the mean, to be honest. Evening, Mikey boy. Treasuries went good. I think we finished the session with 8 ticks, which is good. It's a very good day. Had to be. I mean, today was the volume day today. The last 3 days have been absolutely non-existent. Everyone's been waiting for the CPI print, but my goodness, what a result for the Fed with how they've brought down inflation like that, and now they can pretty much comfortably cut in September. It's not a guarantee, but if those numbers continue like that, more likely looking at a cut, that's for sure. Which is hence why Hence why you're seeing the yields down and bonds up in notes. And then I think the reason why the ES is down is it's just due a pullback, and more to the point that your big boys are the one that's been leading these rallies. So but I hope you're well though, Mikey boy. Okay, you talking about this my style of videos, or you mean John Grady stuff? Okay, let's see how we behave up here. Let's mark this on the chart, these highs, because there was going to be, if we do get as high up here, okay, so 50s, 49 and 3/4. Okay, so here. We should see some stops up here. Quite intrigued that we are aggressively buying right now. Nice. Yeah, his stuff is good. I would say the only thing to note about that is it is like 6-7 years old. The market is completely changed since then. Some of the products now are thinner, some of the products are thicker, but I think the general concepts are somewhat the same. And his stuff is more geared towards a thicker book as well. Yeah, he's a good chap. He's one of the good ones, to be honest. Just finished lunch. Yeah, exactly, Gareth. Exactly. Yeah, they've done the burritos. Time for the reversal. Okay, I think this low volume node up here at 52s, they'll probably want to go up and tap this, take some stops, and I'm really hoping, for the sake of entertainment, that we take out the lows and capitulate, but probably not this session. I think we're extremely over. I mean, look at this sell-off today. It's just been relentless so far. Some selling here was hit, and then it's been absorbed, so we'll see if they can continue to hit in. So, Mike, it depends. So, if you prefer trading in the morning and you're going to be trading treasuries, you maybe want to look at the Urex products, which I know Rob trades a lot in here. The Bund, Bobble, and the Shats. That you can trade in the morning. Or if you want to trade in the afternoons, you can go towards US Treasuries. Summer months are quite quiet months, of course, because the volumes are not really there. They are historically the lowest volume months, but Now, with me using Sierra, I basically on the two, so I don't trade the Ultra. Well, I mean I trade it very 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 seldom, but the Ultra and the 5 year, so UB and ZF, I use for correlations, right? But on the two ones that I execute most on, which is the 30 year when it's thicker, which is maybe 1500 in the bid and offer on the 30 year, on the 10s is the most liquid. I don't really look at TN, to be honest with you, or the Ultra 10. And with using Sierra, I basically automatically mark out yesterday's point of control, volume point of control, yesterday's value area high, yesterday's value area low, yesterday's previous day high, yesterday's previous day low. So automatically mark that all in the DOM. And then just go for the path of least resistance every day, depending on what the sentiment is for the session, and just look to manage my risk really well. And I have two main trades where I have really a profile extension style trade, where I want the profile to extend to see if there's going to be some stops taken in the process, which Treasuries with stops is maybe 3-4 ticks. And then I'll maybe have an out of value fade where I'll fade back into the point of control if we're in a balanced day, and there has to be a bit more uncertainty in the market. But if we've got days like today where yields essentially hit the floor, I'm not looking to take any fades in Treasuries at all. I was only looking to be buying the 30s and 10s. So hopefully that makes sense, mate. But if I'm honest with you, screen time experience is the be all and end all. And before we discuss screen time and experience, you need to first have a risk management protocol to put in place. It's the most important thing. Wow, got 450 points. Gee whiz. Hey Mike, yeah, so I think as long as the firms you're using has Rhythmic, then you can. I don't think it's heads up. Apex. Uh, I've not been hearing great words about them recently with their order routing. Just as a heads up, so just be careful with that. But I think as long as they've got Rhythmic, you can do that, no problem, dude. And UB, to be honest, I mean, of course you can trade what you want, but I personally think 30 years a better trade right now than the Ultra. Basically, if you're offside in the Ultra, it's a lot harder to get filled. When you're off. Hey, Sin. Yeah, DX feed by all means. Good, good. I would say that if you're using Sierra, they obviously tout Denali, and they've almost made their platform that you kind of have to use Denali in a way. It definitely is the preferred data feed if you're using Sierra. As you can see, I use MBO data for the last couple of weeks, and yeah, I think it's probably the second week running on ES. It's not been that ever since this cloud has appeared. Now I know it's been on and off for a while, but this has been there pretty much regular trading hours till close for the last 2 weeks continuously. This. So it's wrecking the MBO data. And see, if I'm honest with you, that's the reason why it's there. It's there to do that. It's there to throw everything off. In my opinion as well, with this cloud that's sitting there, it has to be one of the big firms that are doing it, one of the big market making firms that is executing a lot of size. And the reason being is, look at the amount of bids that have been pulled right now. The reason being is if you or I started layering the bid and offer like that with an algo, we would get pulled up about it. But because these large firms execute so much size, they can do as they please. The exchanges, unless these big firms take the piss, these exchanges are they're not really customers as such. They're more partners with these market makers. Do you know what I mean? It's the way that I see it. They're more partners. They're there to provide the status quo, to create a market for them. They get really good rebates and extremely better margins and better commissions than everyone else. So they're probably going to have a quota that they can spoof. Just my thoughts anyway about it. Oh, Mike, if you've been trading with them for a while, dude, and you've not had any issues, by all means. I've heard some bad experiences recently with them, but what I would say is, when you are done trading, turn to sim mode and just make sure you've not got any orders laying out. So if you're scalping, when you're done, make sure and flatten and cancel all. Oh, yeah, Exo charts. A couple of people in the Discord use Exo. It was really big for crypto back in the days, right? Carl getting close to the 650. Nice, dude. That was a great call. Exo charts, just another charting platform. I think Exo and Atis were when they launched were more geared towards crypto, where you could combine, crypto is almost like Forex and CFDs, where it's a non-centralized exchange, and I think Exo and Atis, first sort of crafted out the niche to go after the crypto traders, where they combined the different exchanges together. That's just my opinion of them, and now over time, they're just sort of gone into more of the futures market side of things, I think. Nice, dude. Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I've just heard some terrible horror stories, man. So I wouldn't want to put you in a bad spot or anything. So my rule of thumb, if you're trading that, is just when you're done trading and you've got a charts open, put it on sim. And then make sure that if you do get a rogue order that's left, just cancel all. And so as long as you're good to go with that, dude. Me, I'm definitely a scalper. Saying definitely a scalper. A home run trade for me, which is literally do a dance, run around the block, get the pom poms out, is like 9 to 10 tick trade on treasuries. Like one trade. That is absolute home run territory for me. Well, treasuries is slower. When there's not a lot of volume, I would say my average hold time is 20 minutes. but Treasuries is slow. When volume is there, my average hold time is probably 5 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes, I would say. Thank you, Khaled. Much appreciated. Look at this. We are. NQ is drop. I can't believe NQ's dropped 450 points. Jeez, oh. That's a lot. Good question, Jasper, and great observation, buddy. Yes, there's a reason. It's because I've set it like that, to be honest. I don't really care about... I just have it set for maximum depth, but it's all it does is put more pressure on the PC, to be honest, because I can see MBO, so I've got MBO for there, down here, so we can actually see that, but there's some size sitting, because everything else is going to change anyway by the time it gets there. It's just algorithms loading orders anyway. NQ I've got set a little bit more because NQ is wild. You can change that setting, dude. Yes, and I was an ES specialist for years. I would say over the last really since COVID, to be honest, the book has just changed. In my opinion, it's like the liquidity changed overnight. To be honest, and my edge, being a human, is to be able to take the time, analyze the bid and offer, see what's reloading and being pulled and stacked, and be able to then see at points of interest where that happens. I feel with ES, you can still do it, of course, but I just feel it's not as, considering I've seen how markets trade differently, right? I found it so much easier when the bid and offer was thicker, the VIX was higher, the ranges were bigger, it was easier to read, So I've just transitioned more towards Treasuries. I've always traded, been in that sort of, in that realm, but since the book dissipated, I've just moved more towards Treasuries. And to be honest with you, it's an easier life as well. It's just not as whippy. It's a little bit more honest than ES as a product. It is in the summer months, guys. It is so slow. I mean, can you imagine in 3 sessions, right? 3 whole trading sessions from open to close. The total range for the 3 days was 20 ticks on a 10-year. Can you imagine how boring that is? NQ moves 20 ticks. You sneeze and it moves 20 ticks. So that's the reason, dude. And also the tick to commission ratio as well. I started to trade more size, and the thicker products, it's easier to trade more size. You don't get noticed. I mean, I can trade 10 lots on the 10-year, for example, and not even be noticed. If I go and put 10 lots in NQ, look at the bid and offer. It's 1 and 2 and 3. If you go in and hit 10 contracts at market, you're actually going to take out the next price. Believe it or not, maybe the next 2 on NQ. So it's not the most scalable product. An ES, not that you're a problem getting filled with 10 on ES, but it's just more scalable, and the tick to commission ratio is better. It's probably, I mean, how would I say this? The costs are probably I would say something along the lines of 75 to 80% less in the Treasuries. That's probably a bad way of describing it. So uh, you you can have 7 scratches, right, on the 30 year, for example. It's actually 8, and then only have 1 tick and still be profitable. You can't do that in any other products. So just something to bear in mind. Not saying you take 7 scratches, but just the commissions, and when you're scalping, and I'm not taking 20-30 trades a day or whatever, but you know, a major thing is commissions. Commissions across a quarter, you know, across a month, across a quarter, and across a year is a lot. So I want to bring that down. And eventually, what I would like to do at some point in time is potentially look at something along the lines of a seat if it makes it worthwhile. But to be honest, I would need to be trading some sheer size to do that. But I'd have probably done that by now if I was going to. So hold times in ES were about 10 minutes. Sin. Yeah, knockout. Turtle race, exactly, did. Exactly, Alex. That was the reason why I reduced that, dude. Um, and on treasuries, I only show 10 levels. I could probably even get away with less than that, to be honest. Which book or course? Um, when I started this years and years ago, there wasn't as much content as there is now. Um, and I've never been one for taking courses as such, so I can't really recommend you anyone. Um, and I think, to be honest with you, in my opinion, courses, it's okay to learn concepts and like certain parts that you feel you need to up your game, but going to a course where they say, here's a rectangle box. When it gets to this box, you sell, or when it gets to this box and there's like a bit of negative delta and or whatever, you sell. Stay away from those courses. Waste of time. You know, my strategy is not going to work for you. You need to build your own data, build your own numbers, and work out for yourself. And book wise, I don't know. Everyone says Trading in the Zone, cool book, cool. I liked Mark Douglas, cool guy. Uh, I think you could pretty much sum up Mark Douglas' book in a couple of lines where it's just you've got an edge, play it out over time, control your risk, um, and when your setup appears, take it. That's pretty much the book, to be honest. I think everything else is just psychology fluff. And in my opinion, the reason why you don't stand up and take your trade without fear in your when it's in your allocated time window to trade is because you don't believe in your numbers. That's simply it in a nutshell. So if you don't believe in your numbers, you need data in your behavior to trust yourself. But yeah, I would say that the some of the stuff that I've read actually that was an eye opener for me is an interview many years ago that Jack Swagger done with the Flipper, and that really opened your eyes if you've never read that interview, where that guy single-handedly traded the most. I think Rob will probably correct me on this if I'm off the mark. Was it the Bund that he was trading? And in essence, the guy could just work the bid and offer both sides, flip it, bang it above, take some stops, hold the offer, take it back at the back down. That's all the guy was doing all day. You know, and that pretty much back in the day, he was market making. That's what these market making firms are now doing. It's now done by machines, and that's typically how the market moves. You know, they have all the money in the world, so it's not like you and I when the market gets to low and we need to see some behavior. We need to anticipate that the big guys are going to step in and show their hand to drive that price back in. These big guys literally know that they can hold the price. It gets to low, and exactly how we saw down here, this is a fantastic example. We're thinking, right, this is going to crack, okay? 2,225 contracts. Some big firm or market making firm literally just said, nah, this is not cracking, by the way. This is not moving because we're going to stop it. We're going to stop this, and then what we'll then do is we can bang the market up a little bit, right? And in the meantime, the guys that were selling down here, they need to cover, and when they're covering, okay, that gets us back up to here. Then we'll probably drill it some more because we're really net positive anyway, and then we'll try and just go for some more stops, and then more people will jump in, and before you know it, this firm that absorbed that have changed the flow of the whole market, you know, and it starts from their one move, right? But we can't do that. Now, back in the day when humans were doing this, right, your job is to try and anticipate and look for behavior with spending time in the DOM to see what these guys are doing, because that's all we're doing here, right? We're not moving the market. We need to go with the path of least resistance and join these guys in their crusade, pretty much, right? Because there's no point fighting against them because you're never going to win. And the DOM is the key to see where these guys are playing. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. But you know, it's completely different market nowadays, and that's where that's where you just need to be aware of it. If you've not watched the video where it was what does it take to be profitable day trading, I tried to break this down into, you need to know who your competition is. You know, there's 4 or 5 large market making firms that trade something ridiculous like 500 billion volume a day, right? So these guys have the size where they can literally just go eeny meeny miny mo on the chart and say, right guys, we're net short from this position, so see when it gets to this price, it's not going any higher, so load up with icebergs, get it done in the API, load up with icebergs and drive it back down. What we'll do is we'll make it look weak to get to that price, so we drive in more buyers and we can absorb in the way. We'll absorb at that level, then we'll hit into the bid. Those guys will need to cover, and then before we know it, more people will join our selling brigade, and then we can drive it down to the lows and do the same behavior we did at that level back into the point of control. You know, it's like a massive game of poker, to be honest. And it's basically just to do with game theory, you know. And that's the thing. Just because this is now done in front of a screen and you don't see anything, think about it when it was like in the pit when it was done with human. It's the same psychology that's behind that. You know, you in the pit you got to see the person you were taking money out off of, right? So you're not going to go up to them and go, by the way, mate, I'm about to sell 10,000 contracts. You know, can you take them from me? And you're going to lose. You know, you would do some shenanigans around it so that, you know, you'd maybe only sell 100, you know, or you would maybe try and drive price a little bit higher. You maybe buy some first so that other people will buy with you, and then you'll aggressively hit into the bid, and then all those people are caught, and then they need to be your liquidity so you can get out in the way down, because when they cover, you can take your profits. Think about that. Just because it's on a screen, that psychology is still what makes the market move. No, not at all, Sin. So if you're a dom trader and it's hard to build up, I mean, I'm not talking about taking 2 ticks in ES, because you know that doesn't work, because commissions kill you. You'd probably need to have something like ATR, maybe somewhere between, I don't know, 6 to 12 ticks, something like that on ES. Um, Commissions are going to hurt you, whereas Treasuries, it's a completely different ball game. You know, you can take 1 to 4 ticks and still be profitable. You only need 1 tick every 7 trades to be profitable. Anyway, guys, I hope you don't mind my rambling. Sorry, Trader Boy, I've just seen I've missed a few messages here. How long did it take to adjust trading to bonds? It didn't take long at all, because I've always been trading or been accustomed to thicker books. So if you've been trading, if you've only been trading depth of market the way ES, and you've been trading since COVID, it'll take you a while to adjust, because it's a completely different market. It doesn't bounce around like this at all. And you know, the trouble is, you know, the market, every market has got its own characteristics and personality. Here we go, Khaled's call's about to happen. It's just gone up to 50s. See if we can pop. If you're trading minis, yes, but it's not by very much, mate. To be honest, not by very much. Yeah, I mean, if you're trading, I don't know. It's just it's not as I mean, you can take a tick, but the trouble is you're going to be there forever. The 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 30 year, for example, is $30 a tick, right? So and it's probably like, you know, standard you maybe get $283 a round turn per contract on the 30 year. So, you know, if you're trading 5 to 10 contracts there, it's, well, this is the thing actually. Just so we're aware, I'm doing pre-market context, right? I'm having a look at the market. I'm checking the sentiment. I'm seeing what data points is coming out. I have a sort of rough bias, but you know, I take my bias and I chuck it out the window if the market is not doing what I think it's doing. You know, that happened the other day where I was expecting it to go bid, and the offer was extremely strong, and then I was actually offering the whole day. So you need to be able to quickly adapt and change your view, and that's where order flow gives you that perspective, right? Um, and I would say when you first start off, check the charts, draw out some key levels, and then watch the DOMs so that you get used to them. Try to switch Treasuries because of problem CL. Is that because it's the wild swings in the market that are a big swing in the P&L? Yep. How many trades on average you take in Treasuries? In CL we have 6 to 10 trades with roughly 50% hit rate and 1 to 3. So my strike rate in Treasuries ranges between 65 to 70% win rate, and I go for anything between 1 to 4 ticks. I only lose 20% of my trades, and I take depends on month to month, somewhere between 15 to 20%, 20% in a bad month, and then the difference is the scratch. So I scratch about 15% roughly as well of my trades. I take about no more than 10 a day, anything between probably 1 to 5 trades a day depending on the day. Some days I'll take 4 ticks a position. Some days I'll get a home run where I take 9, 10. Some days I'll take 3 or 4 trades and I'll maybe only be taking 1 or 2 ticks per trade. But my max stop is never any more than 4 ticks. I have a hard stop at 5 and look to manage the trades accordingly. So I try to not take a max stop. And typically if I'm offside a few ticks, I can normally get out for a tick loss or get a scratch if I'm trading tens. Average hold time when volume is lower is probably about 20 minutes for average hold time. When the volume is higher, it's about 7 minutes. Sometimes it can be slightly lower. But yeah. Yeah, so the thing is with treasuries, you're pretty much just taking it's very much slow and steady. So I don't take many losing trades. When I do, it's a couple of ticks. I take some scratches and then take a couple of ticks a day on trades. Some days I'll get the odd home run. For example, I made 8 ticks today. Great day. So it just depends. Eunice, how's it going? Yeah, exactly, Alex. It's good. So make sure the gain to pain is less. So pound per pound for contract. I'm not risking too much for the returns. Make sure the profit factor is looking good. Yeah, and that's it. You know, and I typically allow myself on a day. I've not got near this for number of weeks, to be honest with you. I allow myself actually 10 ticks drawdown for that day with size, and I don't really get near it because I just get really proficient at managing risk, to be honest. If I get in a trade and it hits against me, I'll really try and scratch it. When you get proficient at trading treasuries, you normally, your MAE can a lot of the time be 1 or 0, to be honest. I took eight ticks today, and I think for those 8 ticks for the trades that I took, I think my MAE was 1 tick across the trades. You know, but that doesn't happen every day, man. Some, like anything, you just need to make sure and don't, when you lose, just don't let it be a day that really sets you back. So hopefully that makes sense, dude. It's a completely different market, and I like ES. I traded ES for years. I really like the product. I just find that when the VIX is low, and it's the way it is at the moment, I've just not found it the nicest product. Yeah, exactly, exactly, Alex. I honestly, if it was a 50% win rate, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be going out of bed for that. If it was 50%, it would have to be a much higher return per trade. Because that's how it works. If you're going the 45-50% hit rate, then you need to be probably getting, at least 1.5 R per trade. But then ultimately you're going to have to take more losing trades, which is fine. It just depends how you are and the type of strategy you've got. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And the reason why I advocate taking 15-20% scratches on Treasuries is because the tick to commission ratio is so good. I wouldn't like to do that in ES because it's, you can get like 3 times the amount of scratches in. So I think it's maybe 2 to break even in ES, maybe 3. In Treasuries, it's like 9, for example. 8 or 9 trades. Hey Adam, buddy boy. Adam, so this is the US time. This is set to, dude. I'm from the UK, and the current time is 14 minutes past 8. Thank you, Khaled. What are your thoughts on scalping micro ES? No. No chance, dude. You'll be there forever. Commissions are too high. Commissions are high enough in the minis, never mind the micros, dude. If you're going to trade micros, you need to be taking a bigger chunk out of the day, to be honest. And if you're trading I don't know. I think if you're going to micros, NQ makes sense. If you're trading ES, it's like a buck a tick. There's nothing wrong with trading micros, but the commissions are gigantic for the size, so you can't scalp. You then need to be probably going for a much larger portion of the move per day, and then it becomes more of a day trade rather than a scalp. Again, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just a different play and a different strategy, to be honest with you. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with having multiple strategies. Once you get really proficient at one, there's nothing like having another one that basically can help you on days. But a lot of people struggle with doing one. So yeah, Alex, no problem, dude. No problem. For trading minis, I would probably say, you can by all means take a tick. I really think you need to be slinging some absolute monster size to be taking a couple of ticks, and you need to get your commissions down to the rock bottom. If you're only be looking to take 1 to 2 ticks in ES, you need to be having a seat. And then, to be honest with you, you're then fighting against market making firms where they're so see the reason why, just so we're on the same page here, the reason why this bid and offer changes so much is because they're constantly refreshing to get filled in the bid and out in the ask, right? That's literally all they're doing. It's just a market making spread they're doing where they instantly get in the bid, out in the ask, or in the ask, out in the bid. And see, for that trade, and I'm not joking when I say this, they're probably paying something like 3 cents a round turn. So when they get filled in the ask and out in the bid for one contract, right? They're making like, 12 bucks 47 cents or whatever, right? And then if they realise there's not size behind them or some market orders coming in, they'll get out for scratch where they lose 3 cents. That's what you're competing against. And they've got literally, they're next door to the exchange, right? We're in different countries, or, so our latency, you're never going to be able to compete for that for 1 to 2 ticks on how quickly ES moves. So I would say the minimum on ES, I'm just being real with you here, I'm not trying to crush any dreams or anything here, right? I'm just trying to be realistic. I would say that you need to be going for at least a mini move, like a range of something five to six ticks, or five to six ticks, 4 ticks at least 4, But then the trouble is, because ES whips a lot, if you're only taking 4 ticks, you can't consistently get in and have a 4 tick take profit and a 4 tick stop on ES. It's just, you need to have a wider stop, and then typically that's fine. You can do that, of course, but you then need to be really proficient at other parts. I would say what you tend to find is it's better to try and take something like 8 to 10, right? Take 2 points. And then once you build up some sample, you can amend things as you go. But you need to know the numbers first. So Adam, he was playing with Sierra for a while. Don't know what to pick as platform. Should I go? Adam, depends on your style, mate. Do you trade order flow or not? If you trade order flow, I would go with Sierra. If you just looking for TPO charts and candlestick charts and Delta, I would go with Tradeovate. It depends on what you're after, dude. Sierra is really a platform, to be honest, that you get out of it what you put in. There's so much you can do with it, and it's really competitively priced. So hopefully I'm making sense. And if you have any other questions about that, dude, I feel that yeah. Yeah, seems to be respecting yesterday's high and lows. Do you mean NQ or do you mean value area, Mikey boy? That's a good one, Colin. Like your style, dude. That could be a good one. Jigsaw for the DOM. It's more out of the box, and that's another thing too, Adam. Sierra, honestly, I really like the platform, but everything that you see is layers and layers of settings. It's not like you just go and press a button and these DOMs appear. I've got something like a 45-minute video on how to do this DOM. If that answers the question on it, A value, right, Mike? Yep. I think I've used Ninja for a total of 30 minutes, so I can't give you any recommendations on it. At the end of the day, in my opinion, a platform, right? If you're just looking to do, I don't know, volume profile, candlesticks, some other things, and press buy and sell and stuff, really any platform, as long as it's reliable, is the way to go, right? But I can't. The one thing that I've got to give Sierra credit for, right? Granted, their system's a bit old-fashioned in terms of their support and stuff, but their system is so reliable. It's crazy how reliable it is. Um, and that's what you need when trading. The last thing you want is when you're in a trade and the shit to lag and just all this wonky stuff that happens. Stuff freezes, crashes, the system breaks. Do you know what I mean? That's the last thing you want. And I think Sierra completely total in. I pay something like $100 a month. Um, and just so you're aware, I've not got any affiliation to Sierra. I've not. I wish I did, to be honest. They just don't have any platform introducing fees or anything along those lines. I've just used it for so long, and it's like everything, right? If you run a business and you've got a pub, right, and all your staff and you yourself use a certain accounting system, stock system, and EPOS system, and you get really familiar with it, right, and you manage your inventory, you do everything on there, you're going to get used to it, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that it's better than a different one. It just you get really efficient with it. Same as a trading platform. But then again, certain platforms are more specialist than others. If I put this into my wild bar example, you're going to have certain systems that are more catered towards garden centres and some that are more catered towards restaurants. Same as trading platforms. However, there's no trading platform that does the buy and sell for you. You still need to press the damn buttons. So if you're looking for something pretty straightforward and simple, I don't know, go with TradingView or something. TradingView sucks though. Um, Tradeovate is one of them. They work. If you're not looking for something, if you're looking for out of the box DOM, I would probably go for Jigsaw. If you want to really put time into a platform and get intimate with the DOMs and all that stuff and what goes behind all of the stuff in the charts, go with Sierra. Sierra is very reliable. Yeah, Khaled, they stopped it. They stopped it out. I don't know when they stopped it, to be honest. Um, I think just as I started, I think. Just as I started, I think they stopped it. No, you can't, Adam. As far as I'm aware, I think a lot of those firms, if you go with one platform, you can't change. As far as I'm aware. Good question, Sin. So a lot of the sim solutions now are actually queuing you kind of similar to a live environment, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not 100% right, but it's not far off it. Yeah. Quant Tower is also one of the most white labeled platforms. Motivewave is actually pretty good too. I would say the standard is to go with Daytrader, the Jigsaw DOM. Their charting sucks, so you have to use a separate charting platform. Right, Quant Tower, nice one. Ah, I use Linux, nice. Knockout, I take it, are you by any chance, are you like a developer of some sorts? Or do you do programming? Sin, I have never heard of Cunningham Trading System. Yeah, I thought so, did, because Linux is a very programmer thing. Get Windows, uninstall it, and put in Linux. But as far as I can go with that is Postman. No, I don't really look into that, but I know a man that does. Khaled is a big fan of the gamma levels. I'm a pretty simple trader, to be honest with you. I don't uh, volume profile, volume extensions, fading back to the means, context, experience. That's pretty much it. I don't really add in too much out with that, to be honest. Wow, this is dumping here. Is this a continued dump or a pullback to gather some more before we crack the highs? Well, the recent high that's been. Colin, I would say so. I would say so for ES specifically. Yeah, I more mean revert for ES. Depends on the day type with Treasuries, because Treasuries is not the same. Um, Treasuries, if you know, as a stat, for example, if we take yesterday's high in Treasuries, it's likely that we close above that, so I would then look to be bidding, for example. Or it depends. Treasuries very much will take the next price and then take the next, and then once there needs to be a pretty set of conditions, whereas back ticking absorption, then some back ticking, and then reloading again for me to then fade back into the mean is a sort of pattern behavior I look to see on the DOM, and it has to correspond with some levels. But very typically, my job there is to, of course, manage risk for the day, and then ultimately just to go with the path of least resistance. And some days that is just going where the market is going, and some days it is looking to call a level and fade it back into the mean. pushing to buy cheaper. Yeah, nice. We'll see if that's what happens. We are really creating this sort of double distribution now, aren't we? Oh. Right, let's put this into its own profile. Yeah, it kind of looks like when you see it now, it looks like a nice big stop run up here, doesn't it? And then sweep down when you see it. Yeah, exactly. So that's it. I mean, I've been in this business now for over 10 years, and I've tried everything under the sun, to be honest. And it wasn't until I just kept it simple, stopped strategy hopping, focused on what really moved the market, which is the size, and just stopped going for home runs and just stop feeling that I had to trade every day. And I don't know, there's loads of things. Yeah, there's such a progression as a trader. And the one thing that so many people do is they don't even know their own numbers. Everyone lives and dies with what they see in this damn screen right now, but then you need to know your behavior when you're in a trade, because you will suffer from recency bias all the damn time if you don't do that. And the reason why I'm saying that is not just because that's something I've made up. I'm saying that because I've done it. I lost years being profitable at the start by faffing, strategy hopping, trying different things, trying everything. And I'm very much simplistic, where this is just me. This is not saying this is the only way to do it, of course. I'm just relaying my experience, where scaling in and out of a position as well. If you can do that and it works, fantastic. For me, I think it's another metric that complicates it. I'd rather be all in and all out, just how my brain works. I'm a very simplistic guy. No problem, Colin. Hey, Sin, I've got no idea who Ray FX is, dude. Hopefully that's a compliment. Yeah, knockout. I think we could just fluff around here, to be honest. We have had an extreme move, so we have sold off a lot, so they do have to take profits today. Or we might see the commitment of traders report that comes out, where speculators and funds trim their long EES positions. Exactly, Neil. This is the thing. This is how you know. I was saying this earlier, dude. That this is how you know it's a large firm that's doing that, because it's it's only them that can get away with it. And you know that, like, the CFTC and all these companies is meant to regulate this shit. Like, it's run by the government. So have you guys ever had, regardless of what country you're from, typically government run things are extremely slow at doing anything, right? And they normally don't have the area's expertise. Can you imagine explaining to a random guy in the government that, what the inside prints are when they hit the bid and reload the offer, and then spoof the price? They flash that to basically hit the algos on the offer. Can you imagine how they don't have a fucking clue what that even means, right? So the exchanges as well will be keeping these guys sweet, because they need They need these large firms to keep the market in line. If these large firms don't step up and take the aggressive selling and the market dumps a bazillion points, the exchanges get put in the papers. And that's the last thing they want. They want a status quo where there's a buying and selling and everyone's happy and they can collect their commissions and everything's fine. So it's not a fair game. So do you think the exchanges who are meant to almost check this are gonna, you know, I'm not saying there's a massive conspiracy going on here, but put it this way: if one of the largest clients that you have for a separate business is doing something a little bit meh, right, and they make you 80% of your revenue, are you gonna phone them and say, nah, see that needs to stop? What happens if they say to you, well, we'll just take our volume somewhere else? You're not going to do that, are you? Do you know where I'm going? Do you know where I'm going with this, right? So it's kind of like, they'll scratch my back, they scratch yours, that type of shit. That's just how any business works. Wow, this is really going. God, you guys are absolutely spot on with that call. I've been too busy rambling this session, so I can only apologise. Too much rambling. Not very much order flow discussion this session. Exactly, Neil. That's my point. Not saying there's a massive conspiracy on it, but it just makes sense. It's the same reason why, Stevie Cohen at SAC Capital got the first dibs and first calls because he paid the most. He paid the most commissions to the brokers, right? Same reason. It's just the way the world works, man. Five six five zero, really close, dude. Hopefully they don't sweep it back down. So we've got 10 minutes till the volume goes in. Exactly, knockout. I'm glad you're probe the questions. That's a good thing. I suppose you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah, bookmap's pretty good. Sin, I would say it's pretty expensive from what I've seen. And it's another. They're really big on the heat map. If you're into that, I think, in my opinion, they've almost taken the DOM and made it pretty. To be honest, all that stuff wasn't around when I started using DOMs and stuff. All these pretty heat. I mean, I've got a heat map myself. I utilize for ES, but it's just a different. It's a different way to visualize things. Some people learn differently to others. There's nothing wrong with that. Wow, the Russell is probing the highs. What the heck? Is that right? Wow. It is. Holy smokes. It's going to take a while for me to get used to these no inside prints. Here. What do you mean you barely see anything, dude? Well, we're using them for correlations, right? So the Russell and the Dow. So in essence, they should all be moving in tandem. Granted, the Dow has its own correlations and stuff, but wow, look at NQ go. What's my thoughts on how I'd handle a late day move in ES after market on close? So, do you mean in terms of looking to enter a position, Trader Boy, or managing a position, or managing a position in drawdown, or like, give me a little bit more context. Ah, you can barely see. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, you need to set the thresholds on them because they call icebergs out when there's really no icebergs, to be honest, and they're in essence guesstimating where stops are triggered. Now we've discussed in the stream how you can see the stops been triggered with certain behavior on the DOMs. They're basically just trying to take that behavior that we've discussed and map it. And don't get me wrong, it's good, but I think is it not like 200 odd bucks a month for it or something. Oh, Neil, nightmare, dude. We're seeing some negative delta come in at the moment. We have 5 minutes to popcorn time. 5 minutes, so grab a coffee, get some snacks, get some chip and dip. Let's see which way they're going to take it. Alex, you're kidding. 2k? Wow, that's crazy, dude. Oh, is that wait? That's just to buy the platform. Is there a monthly subscription after that, dude? Or hey Nick, how's that, dude? Yeah, that's the thing. I think you're right, Rob. To be honest, just give me a DOM. To be honest, all of that stuff is just a different way of displaying the depth of market, in my opinion. The DOM is the raw, just a good ladder, inside prints, a good refresh rate in the bid and offer. Um, the only thing in Sierra is missing is I would love like a column here to click and type. That's it. That's all I asked them to do. That would be great. We're going to clear this. See, Russell 150s needs to look at some size here in Russell at 150s. and the Dow is approaching POC. So is ES. Yeah, exactly, Nick. That's the thing. It's extremely choppy. Kind of to be expected for this, right? But I think there's still some shenanigans left in the next 3 minutes. 2 minutes, to be honest. Exactly. And it's I probably pay for full level two and MBO data for the whole CME group products. I need to probably add in Urex in there as well. But it's, I don't know, the guts of $100 a month or something. It's not expensive. That's for Denali data feeds and the full package on Sierra. It's not expensive at all. You can actually get a better discount with that if you buy it in bulk too. So I would say, well, I mean, this is typically, when the market hits a low, pulls back, and then we don't break the low and then faff around in the range. This is what I would define as a range. In ES, you're probably talking something to the tune of, I mean, you can have a micro range, but we're probably talking like 20, 30 ticks. Yeah. Well, you just need to have another instance open on Sierra, Colin. And you probably need to connect another broker in for that. It'll probably need to be like Edge Clear and AMP or something. Something like that. Here we go. Popcorn time. Right. Let's get our rectangles out for the shenanigans. I've also got VWAP up here too. Nothing too exciting yet. We are on the infamous M period. Yeah, we'll see where the next 15 minutes comes in here, Nicky boy. Yeah, exactly, Rob. It's literally a couple of ticks. when you put it that way, it's ridiculous. I know. I feel a lot of these platforms are there just to. I find that the deeper you get into trading, the more you actually rely on a statistical edge in your own numbers than actually new platform snazzy things, if that makes sense. Oh, a nice one, Rob. No problem, Mikey boy. Thank you for joining. Just going to pop this for anyone that wants to become a supporter of the channel. I know a lot of you lovely people already are, which is much appreciated. So what do we all think here? So we've got 8 minutes till algo time comes in. Do we think we're going to break the highs here and probe higher above VWAP? What's interesting right now is the market's going up, yet sellers are trying to push it down, which is very telling. Let's see if the bid gets pulled or not. Hey John, how's it going, my friend? Khaled's on 5650 up to the highs. Well, the high of this range. That's gonna be yeah, Rob. Are you gonna make a full transition? You use Jigsaw for your DOM, right? Only. Oh, it has to be. You're not using Jigsaw for charting, are you? Because it's crap. So you'll be using Sierra for the charting and Daytrader for the DOM, I'm assuming. That's probably the most common configuration among OrderFlow traders is Jigsaw DOM, Sierra charting, I think. Nice one, Sin. Exactly. So we're seeing a lot of an aggressive selling coming in right now, and buyers are in essence absorbing at the moment. So we'll see. Now, the fact they are absorbing, if sellers do continue to be getting aggressive like that happens. They literally beat me to it. So someone was absorbing there, and now we need to see, are they going to continue, or is the buyers now going to step up and buy? If the selling continues to be aggressive, buyers are going to run out of steam on the absorption tab as well. So just watch and see. Because if sellers are the ones that run out, right, so watch, let me get my pen. Watch here, right? If sellers run out, this goes back up. Because buyers are the ones that are aggressively absorbing. Yeah, but now the offer has been pulled. There's no buying coming in to prompt this. And then in the process of going down here, they have in essence tricked some people. So we'll see. Hopefully with this behavior now, we now go up to Khaled's level of 50. But this is, you know, might as well just do this. Notice still the aggressive selling coming in. Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, I would maybe be interested if we get down here to potentially look to bid back up, and then maybe fade back in. But we'll see where the next 4 or 5 minutes is going to dictate this. But at the moment, we're just faffing around. Exactly, Rob. Nice one, dude. Knockout. It's the other Urex equivalents of treasuries. So you have the Boon Bobble and the Shats are three, and there's another few in there as well. Mm. What tick setting do you watch in the DOM? Tick. The DOM is not really a tick, dude. It's just what orders are coming in. It's not like a time frame or a tick, but it's set to one tick. It's not compressed, if that's what you're meaning. Look at this aggressive selling again that's been absorbed. Jeez, oh. There's Bund, Bobble, Buxel, Vex, Chats, yeah. Which is there basically 2 to 30, right? You're basically just wanting the short, middle, and long end of the curve. There, same setup as trading treasuries. You need to see the short, middle, and long, and they tend to move in synergy with each other. And we said this before, but the yields move inverse to notes and bonds. This is a shocking market on close. Right, come on, here we go. 1 minute for the action. Please do not finish here, because this is brutal. Wow, look at this selling. Jeez, oh. Wow. Action. I see we can probe the low and drive it back in. Okay, we want to try and do the sweepy down at 30s. Let's see if they can do it, if they can get that far. It would be classic ES fashion if they do. Watch the delta, we've got our arrows drawn here. Don't know if they're helpful or not. But we're looking to get down here, do a little sweeperoo, and then drive it back up into the point of control to end in a classic sweep fashion. In my personal opinion, if you're looking to long, you're not going to long until it sweeps. I'm not saying I would take that, but this is what I'm expecting. This type of behaviour is it loves to do that. Yeah, I've got a good community here, Knockout, dude. Loads of knowledgeable people, which is great. I'm pleased how we've built a great bunch of people, man, so it's good. It's good. Look at still negative selling coming in. Let's see if the buyers are done yet. If we're not cracked it with 2 minutes left, that's us done. We should probably just mean revert now back up to the POC. Normally it would have hit the lows by now, to be honest. Would be surprised if we can do that in the next 2 minutes. The volume absolutely dies out after 5 past. Talking about in here, but yeah, look at the amount of selling here. It's just absolutely off a cliff, right? And that's the thing. is absorption is a thing, right? So icebergs can be there to basically absorb the selling, but if selling is too aggressive, market orders are typically going to win. If there's too many market orders, they're going to win. So I think that's pretty much all she wrote. Can't really see it's doing too much. Sweeped a little bit lower and then now just reverting back in. Yeah, exactly, Khaled. Didn't happen. Nice, trader boy. Nice that you sat in your hands, dude. Scalper, enjoy your debrief, buddy. Tomorrow is another Friday stream, and the end to a nice. This one's been quite a long week, actually, to be honest. Well, the reason why I say it's been a long week is you can imagine how long it's been from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's been with Treasuries in a 20 tick range, so that's why it's felt extremely long. So, thank goodness tomorrow's Friday. Rob, this would be craziness to you on ES, isn't it? With just how much it moves like this versus the bonds. Nice, Colin. Do you enjoy it, dude? Joined the Discord too today. Nice, nice. Yeah, we've got. I think we've got over 250 people now in the Discord. It's a lot of people. So it's growing day by day, and we've got really good members in the community now. It's happy days. And we've got a nice diverse group from loads from different countries, different experience, different charting platforms. We've got really good education and resources in the group, so It's a good place for everyone to hang out, man. And everyone's there to help each other as well, which is great. Okie dokie, everyone. Let me know if you guys have got any questions, any last questions before we look to wrap it up. And I'm going to grab some food, take it easy. I'm going to probably review my trade as well. Thanks, Tom. No problem, Rob. Have a great evening, buddy boy. Thanks, Khaled. Have a great evening, dude. Speak to you tomorrow. Thanks, trader boy. Cheers, everyone. Bye, Neil. Take care, everyone. Peace.